The items we're about to talk about in this video are our learning, growth experiences. There's not judgment of them. It is more, we are figuring things out and we are learning as we go. And so we would love to share so that others can learn from what we learned. Number 4 for me is the bed sizes are different here. This one I actually did discover only like a few days before we came out, and we had all of our sheets packed, and we had, we were gonna bring those with us and save and all of these things. Turns out the bed sizes are different here. So just keep an eye on, and I'm not talking just like centimeters to inches, like they literally are different sized beds. So yeah, I just was like, our sheets and things like that weren't going to be as useful. Although Daphne's twin size sheet mostly fits on her 90 by 90 centimeter.
And we don't know if that's just a US thing or not. Other countries, all of Europe, may do this. So if you're moving from another European country.
This may be a European thing.
Your bed sheets
may not be.
We don't know.
It may be a European thing.
We don't know. I think, sometimes Americans like things a little bit more aggressively large, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with anything.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes the sizes were smaller. I don't know. It was just, I do think mostly the US ones were larger. I think the title of this episode now should be, "This May Be a European Thing."
Dan's sweeping generalizations about Europe.
What's your number 4?
Oh, my number 4 is about codfish.
Ooh.
Bacalao means cod. And you may think, why do I need to know that? Why did I wish I knew? Well, when you go to a bakery here, some bakeries have little...
A pasteleria.
Pasteleria have not only sweet treat baked goods, but they also have like fried goods as well. And you might think, such as we did, that these are probably also sweet or maybe even a little savory, but not thinking, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna bite into this and it's gonna taste like fish. Which, we're not huge fish lovers, but we're not huge fish haters. It's just real surprising when you think you're getting something else and you're like, bacalao, that sounds like chocolate. Right. And you bite in and it tastes a lot like fish. It was quite the shocking surprise.
All the huge fish haters out there, holler at us.
Don't eat it. Also, if you're vegetarian or vegan and you don't know.
Hot tip.
Yeah.
Well, they do. So, if you ask, they'll tell you, except if you don't know what bacalao means, it's not very helpful.
Yeah.
So, and bacalao, like there are the pastries, it's like cheese, and then sort of like the pastry has like fish baked into it. The flavor, when we were expecting it, we thought they were tasty. Yeah. So they're very popular, and bacalao in general, very popular here. It's in a lot of dishes. So just something to keep an eye out for if you love cod and you want it in your stuff, look for the bacalao dishes. Yeah. If you are a fish hater and do not want cod, just look for bacalao, and now you know.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. Hey, and now we're on to our final one, our number 5. My number 5 is, I'm a little bit of a media lover. I love movies and TV and all that sort of fun stuff. And I knew this coming in, that the streaming services would be a little different, right? You still have your Netflix, you still have your Disney, and you still have your Prime. However, what you get on them is entirely different.
Yeah.
And I know you're thinking, of course, you're in another country. And yes, of course, we're in another country, and I should know. But Prime, for example, was one that was a little surprising to me that I wish I had known ahead of time. You're going to lose a lot. In the US Prime, you can rent. You're going to lose a lot. You can rent about any movie you want. Even if it's something you want to buy, great, it's on there. Your selection is huge. Selection is fairly large here as well, but it is just a lot of the stuff that it was used to having in the US movie-wise and TV show-wise are gone. So if you really like a show, finding a place. You might want to think ahead of time, like for like Apple TV, which you can still get over here, and you can stream your favorite shows. You may have to buy them, but you can still get a hold of them. Where some of the other streaming services we use, we lost a lot of stuff we used to like to watch.
I mean, I haven't noticed that much, I have to say.
She doesn't have a problem like I do.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was something I was so addicted to, although I will say I'm sad I can't find Psych as easily.
Europeans hate television and movies.
That's from Dan, everybody. That guy said it.
Yeah.
No, so like some of the things you can't find, but I will say, again, we are 6 months in, and VPN and some of those other things, I've done VPN for my computer. I haven't necessarily shifted it to our streaming services to see how that might impact things or help or whatnot. And it might make a world of difference. And so we're just saying that for where we're at now, that's what we found to be the case. Every once in a while, somebody will be like, you should check out this movie. And then I go to look for it and we can't find it.
Because they'll say it's on Prime.
Yeah.
You have Prime, we have Prime.
Yeah.
Like Netflix, some of the things that are released in the US are also released in Portugal at the exact same time. And some of them are not. And again, this isn't a big deal. It's not a huge problem, but it's something I wish I was ready for because I spent a lot of time looking for things for a while, and I sort of figured out the system a bit more and chose to get things like Apple TV where I could, or like to use Apple to download movies and things that I could watch immediately, opposed to try to find them because they just weren't there. Again, not a big deal, but something I wish I had known.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, like, we're figuring it out. There was something I wanted to say on that. Oh, we also have, like, How Did This Get Made? We love listening to that, and they do, like, a live streaming episode.
They're not paying for us to advertise this. We just love it.
No, but they could.
But they could
if they wanted to.
Yeah.
That we can't, like, on the listing it says like this is for US subscribers only. They're working on getting like a international.
They're doing it like a month later. They're re-releasing it internationally so we could watch a
live
recording of it.
Yeah. So it's just things like that. So just paying attention to like what are those shows or those things you can't live without, and just making sure that you check ahead of time.
Yeah.
And my final one is, I did not know how sick we would get. Not that that's something you can predict necessarily. However, I will say if you have your Zicam, your wellness formula, your things that you use when you're sick, that are your comfort items, make sure you have those in case you do get sick.
Load
because
up.
At some point you probably will. Or make sure that you can source them here easily. So I did eventually find wellness formula. Also not sponsored, but if they want to, we'll take it, Source Naturals. Yeah. So I eventually found it through iHerb, and that I will link my referral link below if you want that. But it's been great to actually get stuff through iHerb. It just takes a little bit longer to get some of those things, which is fine. I just wasn't prepared, and I was super sick, and I was like, I can't buy my things.
Especially if you have a child who's going to daycare.
Yeah. And so that was what happened to us, was we like shifted to new country, new environment, new allergies, new wind,
new strains of
everything,
flu.
new pollen, new everything. And then we put our toddler into daycare. So we really had this like double whammy of like, So she would come home with all these viruses, and I was sick for months, just back to back to back to back to back. So, and my immune system just had a really hard time recovering. And I like to have homeopathic remedies as well. And so finally I was able to source through iHerb, getting a lot of the like Boiron products, so that, also not sponsored, but we'll take it if you want it. So Boiron products, so like the Chestal and the Cold Calm for kids and things like that, to try to give her options for relief when she's not feeling well. But then the other thing too is like getting to know the medical system you're about to be stepping into. So we knew that we had like options of public health care. There was also private. So we hadn't had everything set up yet though. We had travel insurance though that we could have used, and that would have been fine, I think, if we got into a serious situation. But just to know before going, like, what are your touch points and who do you contact for your travel insurance? What's the process for that? And then getting private insurance was very easy here, which we were a little bit nervous because, my mom is 78. And so the private insurance companies here don't have to insure people because there is the public health option. But MGen covered my mom. And so that was easy and that all worked out fine.
We also chose to use private to help not be a strain on the system, which is already can be strained here.
Sure.
So that's one of the reasons we chose to go private. And also we live closer to a private hospital. So
in Cascais.
In Cascais, so a little bit helpful for us as well.
Yeah, so we, it's like, but we were learning still too, like what to do and where to go, and do you go to like ER and what are the hours? Because the hospital we have near us, since it is a private hospital, it's not like a massive hospital, so the hours are slightly different. So finding those things out before you go, especially if you have kids, to feel a little bit calmer about all of the things that might come up, then you're ready for them and you have that information ready to go.
And another little helpful tip when it comes to this is that pharmacies here are often closed on Sundays. Not all of them. I don't think it's a generalization. I'm not broad painting
all
this
of
one.
Europe.
All of Europe's closed on Sundays. But a lot of the pharmacies around us do close on Sundays. So it is nice to make sure you have extra stuff on hand just in case something happens and it's a Sunday and you don't have the access to it.
Well, and we did find out there is a number you can call to find the 24-hour pharmacies. However, they tend to be in the bigger cities like Lisbon, Porto. So, because we're further out from, we're not in like a nowheresville. We definitely are in a city, but things are slower paced here and more relaxed, and so things do shut down on Sundays. So just be aware. I just wanted to quickly go over like how we felt about, all these changes and the things that we've had to get used to and the adjustments made. And, I think on top of that, there have been so many other things, but these are just ones that we were surprised by maybe. And, I think it's been a great practice for us to slow down and to be more mindful and to be in a place of like, okay, this is a change. And that's kind of what I wanted. That's kind of why I moved, was really to have a change, have a shift in how we were doing things, slow down, shift the pace of how I was doing things. And so it's not as instantaneous as far as like I can just run out and grab what I want. And that's okay. It's been really nice to kind of focus on different things and be more mindful about my purchases and shift into like, what are the things I really want? What are the things I want to focus on? So that's how it's been for me. I don't know if you have anything you want to share on that.
Yeah, I think, obviously some of those things like the bacalao were just kind of, silly fun tips. But things like, going out for groceries and doing the cooking, like just learning, like things that I wish I wish I had known the system, like a system. It's like the medical thing. It's just a system. You get used to it very quickly. And there's some huge pluses to them. These aren't minuses. Things we brought up aren't negatives. Once you get into those new rhythms, they're very easy and sometimes lead to better things. So it's, it's all about learning and changing and adjusting. And I think it's all been very good. And yeah, like again, there's no negatives here. This is just some new things we've learned since moving here. And hopefully there'll be hot tips for you. Like if you moved here like I did and you love to cook Asian food, because I'm from San Francisco Bay Area, so I love to cook Asian food. And I just needed to know, just go to an Asian store. You're not going to find it at the regular grocery store probably.
And there you go.
Yeah.
New things, new adventures, and that's why we're here. Well, thank you for being on this adventure with us.
And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us over on Instagram as well. We put up a lot of fun photos from Portugal, a lot of Cascais. And
is Instagram at Annabeth Does Portugal?
It's at Annabeth Does Portugal, that is correct.
How fun! How easy to remember. YouTube and Instagram, same thing. Thank you so much for watching, for being here, for being on this journey, for caring for us and supporting us. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.